We're carrying on the film series. This is another romantic film I'm going to talk about, and it's called The Way We Were. The Way We Were is a 1973 American romantic drama, and it's directed by Sydneypollack, and it stars Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford. At the time, these were probably the two biggest stars you could get. Arthur Lawrence adapted the screenplay from his own 1972 novel of the same name, and it was based on his college days at Cornell University. It was a massive box office success. The film was nominated for several awards and won the Academy Award for Best Dramatic Song and Best Original Song. And the soundtrack actually did very well for Barbra Streisand. So, what is the plot of this film? Well, why this is such an interesting film is, again, very much a good character arc again, but I'm going to explain this. So, Katie Morosky and Herbal Gardner are two college students with immensely different lives in 1937. Katie, Barbra Streisand's character, is a staunch Marxist Jew with strong anti-war opinions, while Herbal is a carefree wasp. So a wasp is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, and basically with no particular political bent. As their paths cross, Katie admires Herbal's good looks and his excellent writing. So he's an actually really good writer for English, poems and so forth. Herbal is charmed by Kate's steadfast commitment to social causes. His snobbish friends mock Kate and her passionate political stances. They briefly dance at the senior prom, then part ways. The two meet again in New York City near the end of World War II. Katie juggles multiple jobs, and Herbal is back from active duty as a naval officer in the South Pacific. The unlikely pair fall in love. After President Roosevelt dies, Katie is incensed when Herbal's friends make disparaging jokes. She rejects Herbal's indifference towards the insensitivity and dismissive political engagement. Herbal is frustrated by Katie's bluntness and strong opinions. He ends the relationship, but they eventually reconcile. Herbal receives an offer to adapt his novel into a screenplay, but Katie is concerned his talent will be wasted in Hollywood. Despite her apprehensions, they move to Malibu, where his studio contract offers an affluent lifestyle. As the Hollywood blacklist grows and McCarthyism encroaches on their lives, Katie's political activism resurfaces, potentially jeopardising Herbal's reputation and livelihood. Katie and others publicly confront the government over personal privacy and free speech. Her involvement strains the marriage, and Herbal becomes alienated over Katie's persistent political combativeness. Although now Katie becomes pregnant, Herbal has an affair with his ex-college room person. Katie realises Herbal is not the man she idolised and that he will always choose the easiest path. Herbal is emotionally exhausted and unable to live up to Katie's expectations of him. After the daughter's birth, Katie and Herbal divorce. Years later, Katie and Herbal meet by chance in front of the Piazza Hotel in New York City, where Katie is demonstrating to ban the bomb. Taxi interrupts their reunion, but they ultimately part with a tender, bitter-sweet farewell. And what this story is about is the idea of sometimes with love, it doesn't always work fundamentally, and they are complete opposites. But the trouble is, this is about expectations. So the expectations within this cause a load of problems to understand. So what we have to look at is, with this story, it talks about these expectations of people who have completely different ideals and how the relationship can work. But unfortunately, as long term as this story goes, it actually becomes, as much as a romantic drama, it actually becomes quite a tragedy in that respect, because the idea is you think these two will always work it out somehow, but they never do. So it's an interesting film, and from the 70s, I mean, you couldn't have got probably the two biggest actors at the time. And why I think this film is really interesting is because it again is a realistic portrayal of love. And I think that's where sometimes too many romantic films, especially from like the 80s and 90s, and even some of the ones in the 70s, like this love story, are too idealistic. And I think love is more complicated. And I think this is